Hi everyone, welcome back to the Spooky Zoe channel. We're gonna do another wrap up today, but it's also gonna have a teeny bit of hobby talk in it. Um, I've been really enjoying my hobbies recently, so I kind of want to talk about them, kind of what's keeping me sane through all of this. Um, Without further ado, let's get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do the book part first, and then we're gonna talk about hobbies last, just because I might ramble about my hobbies a little bit. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna switch over to looking at the books and the stats for this week's, or this month's, I should say, wrap up. So, starting out strong, in March of 2026, I read 5 books, 313 pages, and 40.2 hours. It took me about 11 days to finish. I was still recovering from being sick at the beginning of the month, and then I went and helped my parents set up a computer, so it was a whole thing. But a lot of emotional books, a lot of dark books, tense books, sad, reflective, mysterious, teeny bit of lighthearted, inspiring, and hopeful, but not too much. Pace, kind of all over the place this month. 2 of mine were medium, 2 of them were fast, 1 was slow. So getting in a little bit of a variety. Page number, all of my books that I read, only one that I actually physically read, or not physically read. I read with Libby on digital, was less than 300 pages. Audiobook, 4 of them, all between 8 hours and 16 hours, which is kind of like my sweet spot for audiobooks. For my fiction and nonfiction, I read 1 nonfiction this month, and I read 4 fiction books this month. So I was very excited about that. As for my genres, 2 queer books, and then we had a variety of others as well. Classics, magical realism, young adult, thriller, romance, mystery, memoir, literary, horror, historical, graphic novel, crime, contemporary, all the above. None of the books in this time period have been tagged by me. Oh no. I'm gonna have to fix that as we go through, because I need to tag my Libby ones with Libby. And my, owned ones with owned. Okay, I'll do that later. But, for format, I did 1 digital, as I talked about 4, and 4 audio, so I'm kind of proud about that. All my books were in English. My average rating was 3.7. I had 1 3, 2 3.5s, a 4, and a 4.5. This is kind of what my reading looks like. Like I said, I was kind of not in the dumps, but I lost my reading streak, which I was upset about, but we popped back up with reading as soon as my spring break started. We popped right back up with reading, and then we went through, there's a little bit of here where I read a lot of pages. That was the day I read majority of Heartstopper, that we'll get into, and then we kind of fluctuated with everything as we got to the end. But without further ado, let's get into the first book. So, the first book I read was This Is My Body by Lindsay King Miller. This was an audiobook that I had on Audible that I had saved, and I had seen a couple of my friends read it, as you guys can see over here. So I was gonna read it on Audible. It said it was gonna go off by the 13th, so I started it and started reading it. It says it's a darkly funny queer horror novel. There's nothing really funny about it. This book is basically a lot about religious trauma, Catholic religious trauma, being queer with religious trauma. Basically, this woman decides she wants to have a baby. Her partner's who's also a woman, who's like, hey girl, maybe not right now. This is kind of crazy. And then girly goes and gets herself artificially inseminated, basically, and ends up pregnant and tries to tell her partner. Her partner's like, hey, what the fuck? I didn't want this. I'm leaving. Bye. You didn't think about me in this at all. And then a lot of religious trauma happens with this girl's daughter. She's being raised, and you find out through the book a lot about how the mom was raised with religious trauma in a very culty type of house. It wasn't really a great book to read. I gave it 3 stars. Um, yes, it was complicated, very heavy on religious trauma mixed with religious guilt about being queer. As someone who grew up in a Christian school K through 12 and does not identify with it anymore, this is very oddly relatable. I was not Catholic, but my mom was, and this sounds like an absolute horror. I left, like, the book lost me between like halfway and 3/4 of the way. It got into like some really like random detail type shit that I was just like, "Ooh, that doesn't sound great." Um and there was a demon in it, and it came like out of left field. Time jumps were also sharp because we were like going from present day to like the mom's past to present day to when the mom was a child to when the mom was adult, like before the kid. Like, overall, stay away if you have religious trauma heavily, but if you want to read it due to interest, why not? Just make sure that you're safe with your content warnings. For content warnings, we have graphic body horror, blood, and religious bigotry, moderate incest, miscarriage, and death of a parent, and then minor pedophilia, rape, and suicide. So, be careful with yourself with that one. Not exactly the best one to jump into for the first of the month. But because I thought it was going to be like fun, cute, exciting after I read The Prophets. No, not fun, not cute, not exciting. Um, this book, Educated by Tara Westover, I want to start out with apologizing. In my last one, I had said this was about a black family in Idaho who was basically off grid. I apologize. I had looked up books for Black History Month to read, and this had popped up. I did not do my due diligence with research, because come to find out, Tara Westover is a white woman. This is about a white family, so my apologies. I greatly feel sorry for that, but I wanted to apologize. But amazing book nonetheless. So, Educated by Tara Westover is basically about survivalists in the mountains of Idaho. Tara was not educated in a normal, I guess, way in like the public education system. She was educated by her mother and her father as they were off grid, basically. Um, and essentially, what happens was she decided to step into a classroom for the first time when she's a teenager and talks about how her dad had very misogynistic views. He was also caught up by religious trauma. Seems to be a theme this month is religious trauma. But this book, I was really struggling through it a little bit simply because of the trauma that was there. It was also set in the 90s to the early 2000s, and I was surprised like someone could be as off grid as they were in that time period. Like, obviously, as we're getting more and more into like the story and everything, you realize like they get less and less off grid, but it's just crazy to like have that be a thing people can do. I mean, it's definitely like an American ish thing to like not really have an opportunity to be off grid. Um, or like it not to be normalized. But I really liked this book. I rated it 4 stars, and I did read out a lot of it for my review. I said this was an adventure to go through. I was not expecting much, but this hit me hard, especially as I'm about to finish my master's program because it went through Tara, sorry, and all the way through up until her college education. I hope I can reflect on this book as it transported me back to the time that I see no matter how the world advances. Um, things are going to go great. Oop, I just dropped something. Oh well. Um, and there will still be those who resist that change. For content warnings, this is graphic child abuse, emotional abuse, and physical abuse, moderate animal cruelty, animal death, and racial slurs, and minor for cancer, panic attacks, disorders, and anti Semitism. Moving on to the next one. Then I decided I had a lot of trauma and I needed to have a happy fun time. So then I read Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. This, I've heard a lot about it. A lot of the YouTubers that I followed saw the show and talked about the show. I never watched the show because I wanted to read the books first, and I saw it was on Libby, so I was like, why not? Um, this is my first Libby one. Let me tag it as Libby. So, this book I really enjoyed. This is about Charlie, who's like an openly gay overthinker. It's also high school YA, and also about Nick, I think is the other kid's name, if I remember correctly. Yes, Nick Nelson. Basically, they played rugby together. Charlie kind of has a crush on Nick, but everyone's like, Nick's straight. And you come to find out through this book that Nick is in fact bisexual, and he really likes Charlie and wants to hang out with Charlie a lot. Um, it's very sweet and cute. I needed a little boys kissing book to get me through. And also, being someone who's queer, one of my goals for this year is to read more romance about gay men, because I tend to stay in like the sapphic, non-binary, trans area, but I really wanted to read some more books about gay men. Um, I really like this. I rated it 3.5 stars. I said, love this book a lot. I've been wanting to read more diverse queer books since I've been mostly sapphic books lately, as I talked about. I really liked it. This may lead to me watching the show. I can't wait to read the next one. I have the next one on Libby. I'm simply just waiting for it to get on Libby, because when I was waiting for the first one, I put this on hold in like December, and my library didn't have any copies, and they said, we don't have any copies, we'll let you know if we get any, do you want to just take off your hold? And I was like, no, I want to put it on hold, I want to read this. And they finally got one, and I was like, ah. So I was very excited about it. For content warnings, there's some graphic ones about bullying, homophobia, and sexual assault, and for moderate, there's toxic relationship, outing, and sexual harassment. Excuse me. But I really enjoyed this book. It was a very fast read for me. I loved graphic novels, didn't really get to read any in February, so I was glad I got to squeeze one in for this month. I'm going to try to go through the whole entire Heartstopper series this year if I can. But we'll talk about April in a little bit and how that's going to be a little bit more challenging for me. But next, we had Beloved by Toni Morrison. Beloved was my book I read for Fats' Book Club, Baby Back Books on YouTube, if you want to go check her out. I had always heard about this book when I was in high school. It was not required to read Toni Morrison, but one of the kids in my class did a paper on The Bluest Eye, and I thought that was a really interesting book. Still hadn't read any Toni Morrison, and I was like, this is when I'm going to read it, Beloved. Again, religious trauma. Just like a lot of trauma, a lot of masculinity presentation, a lot of all that. This is a story about Sitha, I think, or Siva is how you say her name. She's a protagonist. She was born a slave, escaped to Ohio, but 18 years later, she's not free because she has too many memories of what happened to her, and her new home is haunted by the ghost of her baby who died nameless and was buried and engraved with a single word, beloved, which is why the book is named Beloved. Um, this book is a lot of trauma. It's very, very heavy, dark, and challenging to get through because of me reading this for book club. Fun fact, I thought I had an extra week, so I checked on Tuesday, found out our meeting was on Saturday, and read most of this book in 4 days. Do not recommend that. Space it out, girls. Space it out. There are immense themes of masculinity, trees, marriage, ownership, language, motherhood, etc. They're very prominent, and there's a ton of trauma in this book. Toni Morrison can write. I'm not going to tell you guys she can't write. Holy hell, Toni Morrison can write. But I could not think about the words as much as I wanted to and how I needed to read this book at this time. Like I said, I kind of rushed through the book in like 4 days. Like, I still got a lot out of it. I still read a lot, but I didn't exactly get to like stop and sit with it. Also, I did this in audiobook. I feel like this is definitely a book you need to read physically. I loved like, or maybe what would be good, because I really liked in the audiobook like the accents that came out with the pronunciation of the names and like the like dialect and storytelling of it. I feel like this would be a good book to experience with listening to the audiobook while physically looking at the book. I feel like that would be a really good way to read this. I could not think about the words as much because, again, tight time frame. I would love to read this in a more critical think piece type of way, but due to time constraints, I read it all in 4 days. As I said before, I'm not going to suggest that. Take your time to go through the book. Also, ask yourself if you can handle this book, because the content warnings, girls, ooh, graphic child death, racism, slavery, moderate rape, sexual assault, sexual violence, minor animal cruelty, alcohol, war. Not exactly the best, but this was an amazing book. It's dark, emotional, sad, tense, very slow. This book seemed to drag out for a bit, but I feel like it needed to get its themes across. But Excuse me, but I highly recommend it. I'm debating if I'm going to read the rest of them because I found out this is a trilogy. Probably not right now, but I'm willing to read them in the future, maybe later this year, depending on what happens. And then the very last book I read was honestly my favorite book of the month. This is The Midnight Taxi by Yosha Gunasekara. Yosha is a Sri Lankan American who this is their debut novel. This literally came out. I thought this was like a year or two ago. No, I read this. This came out in February. This is an amazing book. It's set in New York City, and the main character, his name is Surubathi. Surubathi um is a taxi driver and drives around taxis all hours of the night, kind of like just does her things. Gets a taxi notification one day and goes to pick someone up, tries to take them to JFK, looks in the back seat. Somehow they've been murdered in her back seat with no one else in there. She's kind of freaking out. She gets arrested for murder and then gets let out, and she's trying to literally has like 4 or 5 days to prove herself. Set in New York City, amazing setting, bodegas everywhere. Oh, I fell in love with this book. I read it in like I think 2 or 3 days. Loved it so much. Very short. It's only like 8 hours long. I absolutely loved it. This is a debut novel. I really, 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 really want to read more about this author. Yosha, you are on my list of people that I want to read later. Um, for my reviews, strong character development, diverse cast of characters, lovable characters, flaws the main character's focus, plot or character driven, kind of a mix. Beautifully woven modern thriller. Love the setting of New York City with the current times, although I didn't know this book how new this book was until I finished it. Sariwathi was very relatable as a child who could never mess up while also being the one who had dreams and ambitions. I loved her character arc and the way the story unfolded. And Amaya was also a go-getter character I was excited for. This book started, I thought it was about their friendship, but it was way more than that. This is an amazing thriller everyone needs to read. I'm keeping my eyes out for some Yoshio Gunasekara books in the future. I'm very excited. If you want a fast-paced book, go get it. Go get it. Oh my god. Content warnings. There is a murder. So there's death and murder that are very graphic in this book. Moderate racism, moderate sexism, moderate grief, minor cancer confinement and gun violence. But I really love this book so much. I'm so excited to read more of it. Um, I'm really, really, really liking it. But for one thing, for April, so April's going to be a little funky. One book that I really want to read is The Crescent Moon Tea Room. Still haven't finished it because all my Libby books started coming up, and I was like, ooh, I need to read my Libby books. So that's what happened with that. However, want to finish that book. I also want to finish. Let me pull up my Libby. I have How to Kill a Witch by Zoe Venitazzi. Been on my list for a while. I also have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. That book I wanted to read because April is Autism Awareness Month. So I wanted to read some books with some autism rep in it or by autistic authors, and this book has autistic rep in it. I also have a book on here. It's a poetry book. Haven't read a poetry book in a while, but April is also I think it's National or International Poetry Month. I used to write poems all the time. I don't really have any as much time anymore, but I want to get back into it. I have Appalachian Elegy by Bell Hooks. I currently live in the Appalachian Mountains, so I really wanted to read some like Appalachian history. Um, for book club, this month we're reading Wuthering Heights, so I need to also read that book. Another book that I'm really, 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 really looking forward to that I have on Libby is The Dreadfuls by A. Ray Dunlap. If you guys remember, I read my first A. Ray Dunlap, I think in January. The book just came out literally a few days ago as I'm filming this. I'm literally waiting on that Libby hold to come out. I'm so excited. It's set in like London, 1888, and it's about like a girl who's a misfit who wants to be a true crime detective. And like, oh, it sounds so good. But that being said, April may be a slow month for reading. For those of you who don't know, I am currently a grad student and I am in the chunk of finishing up my research and writing my thesis. So that is going to take priority this month because I basically have to have an entirely done draft by the end of this month. I have most of it done. It's just I need to like get my head down and finish writing the rest of what I'm writing. Um I'm hoping I'm hoping that it doesn't take too long, but it's also a thesis. It's a master's thesis. Gonna take a little bit. But so April may be slow for reading for that reason because I'm not going to be doing as much sitting down type reading. If I do reading, it's going to be like listening to an audiobook while I'm doing lab stuff, or it's going to be listening to an audiobook while I go get like my groceries and things like that. There's really not going to be a lot of time to sit down and read. That being said, I want to finish Crescent Moon Tea Room. I'm like 100 pages in. I really need to finish it. Really bad because like it's a good book. It's just that I don't have time to sit down and read. Which like if I have time to sit down and do these videos, I do have time to sit down and read, but like you know what I mean. Um but I said that I was going to do some hobby time. So, one hobby that I have been getting back into because you girl's been stressed and needed some hobby relief. Lean back. This is a diamond painting, and I started this before grad school, literally like 2 years ago. And I just got back into it. I only had like up until this little section here done, and then I did all of this over here plus this little chunk that's down here. I'm almost done with it. It's very big, but if you can see, all of these individual are like little pixel pieces, and I'm really looking forward to doing the diamond painting. I want to finish it by the end of the year. That's one of my goals for the year, so I'm hoping I can do that. Um, but if anyone ever wants to see any diamond painting, please let me know. Sometimes I do my streams with it, so you guys can pop in and see that, or I can just do a video about diamond painting if you guys like, if I have some time. For another hobby I've been doing that's been really great is I stream. If you guys don't know, I stream on twitch.tv as Spooky Zoe, same username here as on Twitch. I stream twice a week and play video games, but usually they're Tuesdays and Saturdays at 5 p.m. EST. Um, I stream video games. Most recently, what I've been playing is Cult of the Lamb, which is you're the last lamb alive. You're trying to like survive and not be killed by all these gods. It's really cool. Hades 2, which is based on Greek mythology and it's a roguelike. I absolutely love it. And then also I'm so excited. I got a code for the game Fishbowl by the I Miss My Friends studio. Fishbowl is like a narrative story game about a girl named Aloe who is 21, who just got their first job, but it's set right before the pandemic. And it's pixel art, it's gorgeous. Oh, I'm so excited to play it. Actually, as of today, of filming this, I'm going to play it soon. So maybe I'll upload this tomorrow so you guys can watch this and maybe pop in for stream. Uh, but the other hobby that I've been very much enjoying is doing my journaling. I've gotten into journaling a little bit in like the last couple years. It all started with my 5-year journal. If you guys watch a lot of vloggers, you may know about Hannah Witten. Hannah Witten lives in London. She used to have a sex and relationships channel, but now she has since retired that channel and she just does vlog content and like working from home, that type of stuff. Um, she had mentioned that she did a 5-year journal, and I was like, that's really interesting because my things with journals was always I don't really like to write a lot, or like when I do write, I don't have time to write a lot. But I realized, because I got this when I had my full-time job before grad school, I was not writing nearly as much as I was typing on the computer. And I started writing in this and I was like, whoa, I don't write physically nearly as much. It might be time to get a journal. And I want to have my life documented, especially when I was starting grad school. I wanted my life documented. And I wrote this when I think, what year did I start this? I think I started this in 2024. Yeah, I started this in 2024. So like as you can see, I have like the first year up here, second year here, third year here, and then I have room for 2 more years. Basically, um I'm documenting my life like this. I've always wanted to have like a written copy of something that like maybe someone can find later on and read if they want. But I wanted to document life, especially going through grad school. I wanted to have that documented somewhere. I kind of wanted to have like a more in-depth journal, but like this is as much as I knew I could do throughout grad school. So I'm really excited to have my 5-year journal. I'm planning to do this for the rest of my life if I can. Because I absolutely love like my little nightly ritual before I go to bed. I sit here, I write in my little journal, and then we're done for the day. The other thing I had started doing that I have not been as good at was I have an app called Color Note, and I used to keep lists on there of everything that I would do um for the day. But I started writing out lists in this little like mini composition notebook. It's small. I can keep it places. I can shove it in my bag. I can put it in a purse. It can fit in my wallet, basically. Like, we have a lot of things. Um, but I haven't been using it as much lately simply because I also have like daily checklists I want to do of like, did you do your skincare? Did you drink water? Did you read your book today? Did you do your Spanish lesson today? Like all these things. And it was just getting a lot to write it down every single day. But also, I'm me and I like checklists. So I would have these checklists in here. And when I had these checklists, it would take forever for me to like write the checklist, write it down, yada yada. And I was like, maybe there's a better way to do this. I'm still trying to think of a better way to do this, but I have some solutions, potentially. The next kind of journal I have is this. This is a journal that I bought from Spirit Halloween. It's like Beetlejuice thing. It came with a Beetlejuice pen, but I wasn't really vibing with the Beetlejuice pen. But this is basically my stream journal. As I said before, I stream. I like to keep um up with like what my streams did, how much data I got, etc. Last year was my first year streaming like kind of consistently for the whole entire year. I really liked it, so I said this year I was going to try tracking my stuff. My first page was just like what my stats were for the year of last year, broken up by like 6-month chunks in the whole year. And then I had like a proposed schedule I wanted to do for this year, which I've kind of stuck to, which I'm very proud of, especially with everything that I'm doing. Um, and then I just recently did like my Q1 wrap up on here, my Q2 goals, and also I have like monthly goals that I try to hit. But I really like doing this kind of journaling. This is like what I do every single week. I keep track of like how many clips I made, what I streamed, how long I streamed, how well the stream did, and all that. So I'm really excited about this one. I've been keeping in contact with it and keeping up with it. So I'm very excited. But that being said, I bought some more journals. So I have a couple of journals that I bought. I have not opened them out of the plastic yet, but I'm very excited for doing it. I have always wanted to do a book journal, but I've always been like, oh, I already put all my stuff on Storygraph. What if I put it here? Then I have to write it down every time. And I'm like, you could just do it gradually. No one said you had to do it every single day or for a day for like 5 hours. You can do things gradually. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. The ADHD does not have to win and tell you it's all or nothing. So I got this gorgeous little like lavender colored journal with like a little sun on it and a moon. Kind of looks like a tarot card, which is kind of what I was going for. It just has notebook on the front and it has like a little, where is it? A little elastic on the side for a pen. Also has some ribbons and then, yeah. And then at the top, on the very last, it has like a little elastic that you can use to mark your place. I'm looking forward to using this as a book journal. Don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to start from 2023 when I like kind of got back into reading books, or if I'm going to start for this year. I kind of want to do 2023, but also that's like over 100 books I'd have to catch up on, and then I'd have to do this. So like, I kind of want to start 2023, but that's like a whole project, and I'm gonna have to like spend a second planning it out and everything. But I have this journal. We're gonna figure it out. I'm also probably just gonna like take the covers, put them on a piece of paper, print them out, tape them in here, yada yada. And then the next book I got, and this I thought this was cute. It's like dark green with a little tree on it. Um, this also has like a little pen holder on the side. It has an elastic at the top so I can mark my place. I just thought like me being me, I was like green, growing, grow everything. Because I'm gonna put my daily habits in here as well as my budget. It's a thinner book, as you can see, than all the other ones I have. But I'm like, ow, just hit myself in the face. Okay. But I feel like this can be a really good book to like track my budgets. I do already track my budgets like online. I track my habits online, but I feel like if I have this, then it'd be a really good way to track everything and kind of see how it goes. So if we put that all together, I will then have 4 journals like this, and then I'll have the itty bitty one once I figure out how to do this more efficiently. But those have been my hobbies that I've been kind of keeping up with, as well as my book wrap up. For April, as I said, I'm really excited about the Dreadfuls. I'm really excited about How to Kill a Witch, The Kish Quotient, Appalachian Elegy. Um, I'm hoping I'll have some time. Oh, and also Wuthering Heights for book club. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to at least get through those 5 books if I get them on Libby. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping that if I get my thesis draft done this month, then I can give myself a couple days to relax. But I love you all so much. Thank you all for being here. Again, you can find me on most socials as Spooky Zoe with 2 I's and Spooky, 2 I's and Zoe. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube because you're watching me right now. I'm on Twitch doing my streams. Also Storygraph, all that jazz. I'll link everything down in the description below. But thank you everyone so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I will see you all next month. Let me know if you want hobbies to be in these videos too. I just kind of wanted to yap about them, so I put it in this video to see what's happening. But maybe I could also do like a hobby video. I don't know. But I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next month. Bye!